And now on to our seventh speaker, Sharon Couper. Sharon is an invisible illness and injury advocate and educator. She empowers those with an invisible illness or injury to navigate their identity crisis so that they can rediscover, reinvent, and reclaim their personal power. Today, Sharon is presenting on Reclamation, 3 ways to navigate your identity crisis. Please join me in welcoming Sharon to the stage.
Someday, everything will make perfect sense. So for now, laugh at the confusion, smile through the tears, and keep reminding yourself that everything happens for a reason. By show of hands, who here has ever asked yourself, who am I, or what have I become? Who here associates with having an identity crisis? What now? Where next? Why me? Can anyone relate? Good, you're in the right room. As I empower those with an invisible illness or injury to navigate their identity crisis so that they can rediscover, reinvent, and reclaim their personal power. Before I go on, I must apologise in advance if I fluff and cause embarrassment, as it is not my intention. I could attribute my excuse to working in a barber shop for over 10 years, mainly with men. Or perhaps to menopause. Maybe it's my stroke. My multiple personalities. Don't forget the occasional Tourette's too. My life is very exciting and nothing short of an adventure. What comes to mind when you think of the word disability? Is it someone in a wheelchair or with a guide dog? These images pop up because they're easily visible in what the media portrays. But sadly, not all disabilities are visible. While there is not one accepted definition of what an invisible illness is, these are generally chronic conditions with debilitating pain and fatigue symptoms that can't be easily recognised just by looking at someone. The following statistics can be confronting. Behind every number is a human life that can have a devastating impact on family, friends, and even whole communities. According to the most recent survey in 2013, 24% of New Zealand's population were identified as disabled. A total of 1.1 million people, 53% of these had more than one impairment. The most common cause of disability is disease or illness, and I'm one of them. Over 9,500 strokes are experienced every year. One every 55 minutes, a leading cause of severe adult disability. 25 to 30% of these are experienced by people under 65. Let me take you back to the 5th of August 2022. I was 55 years old, a hairdresser of over 22 years and a passionate business owner. I woke from a stroke-induced coma. Let's call it a nightmare, as life, as I knew it, would never be the same. I was 11 years old again. It was 1978, and I wanted my mum and dad. This was my beginning of my identity crisis. Disbelief, and finally, the confronting realization I had a stroke. I'd just gone into hospital in the morning for a routine procedure, and by 6 p.m. that same day, I was rushed back in by ambulance as status 1. You know, I had always wondered what it'd be like in an ambulance with the sirens blaring and the lights flashing. Well, I feel a bit ripped off actually, as I missed all the excitement. How rude. Anyway, I was once told that when you have a stroke, you go funny in the head. Well, that's the biggest bloody porky I'd ever been told. But isn't it funny how we believe things we're told by a professional? What I do remember is the shouting and pinching. I just wanted them to stop. I could hear in my head screaming for them to stop. But they didn't. They just kept going. And then came the nurse's voice. Doctor, she's not responding. Shit. Is this it? Am I going to die? Through this journey of rediscovering my identity crisis, I realized I could listen to the doctors whose outlook was bleak, or defy the odds by relearning and reinventing myself to learn the skills of walking and talking again. I am not perfect, but then who is? And I'm not saying what happened to me, what worked for me, will work for you. What I am saying is that through crisis comes opportunity. No one person has all the answers, and we believe what we want to believe. Did I believe the doctors? No. In fact, if someone says I can't do something, I show them I can. Repetition is the key. I didn't give up. Yes, I was very angry and I cried and still do a lot. I threw many tanties and I never know which personality is going to show up. And I cringe at the stuff I hear myself saying. In fact, I think poor Roger, who never faltered, he is my rock, loving, encouraging, and supporting me unconditionally. It is in our darkest moments we shine the brightest, and now is a time for us all to be visible. I am a woman who defied the odds and relearned the skills of living life again. I am here to tell you there is life after stroke. Maybe a new and improved version of who I was, but this is my reality and why I am so passionate about supporting and caring for others just like me. My stroke was the catalyst for becoming an advocate to an educator for Invisible Illnesses International, to empower those with an invisible illness or injury to navigate their identity crisis so that they can rediscover, reinvent, and reclaim their personal power. Life may not be the party we'd hoped for, but while we're here, we should dance. So if this is resonating with you and you would like support and help to navigate your identity crisis, come on, let's join together to help you and support you to rediscover, reclaim, reinvent your personal power.